If you're a teacher or someone that's mentoring someone or guiding someone, that student is gonna love what you love. And I think it's like with Jesus, he wants you to listen to the voice of other people. He wants you to hear the birds. He wants you to listen for the oboe. Listen. When I enrolled in college, my whole goal was to get a degree in criminal justice, get out of there, and get into the police department. So when I was looking at the registry for the classes for the upcoming freshman year, and I was looking, I want to get in sociology and psychology and all these things that would contribute to my being a good police officer. But you had to take these general ed courses, which I wasn't looking forward to. And one of the required courses was music appreciation. Now, I couldn't think, how is that relevant to being a good police officer, music appreciation? It didn't make any sense to me, and especially at 18. So I'm trying to put it off, and we were on a quarter system, so I didn't want to take it in the fall quarter because I wanted to try and find anything that was more, actually that I thought I would like more, and that was more in line with being a criminal justice major. But by winter quarter, I had to take music appreciation. It was the only thing left. And where I went to university, the winter was brutal. And so I thought, I might as well just knock this thing out in winter quarter. So because of the class schedule and everything, it was winter quarter, 8 a.m. So I would have to, get up early in a freezing cold campus, walk across the campus, go into the music appreciation building, and sit through this, what I knew was going to be a horrible. What is music appreciation, and how do you appreciate? Unless I pick the music, how could I appreciate music? Sleepy, cold, and frustrated. So, nevertheless, I had to take it. It was a requirement. So I go to the class, and it's pretty much made up of students like myself. There were no music majors in music appreciation. It was all people from different majors that had to take this class. And you could kind of sense the boredom already, the hostility, the bad moods, the grouchy people all in this room, sitting in there waiting to, what is music appreciation? What are they going to teach us? So we're sitting there, and the professor comes out, and it's almost like stereotypical nightmare. This guy comes out, he's a little guy, and he has on, the tweed jacket and the bow tie, and he comes out, and he doesn't say anything. He just walks out, and he's carrying a stand, like a music stand or a table, and he comes out on the stage, and he puts it down, and then he goes back off into this room. And he comes out with a portable record player and he puts it on the stand and he plugs it in the floor. And then he walks back off into this room. And I'm watching this like everyone else, and this is going to be horrible. The guy, you're just in your mind, you're just classifying this guy as like this loser kind of nerd music guy who's been teaching. He's, old, ancient compared to us. And it's just going to be just unbearable, and we've got to do this for 12 weeks. So he comes back out, and he has an album in his hand, and he pulls the vinyl out, puts it on the record player, sets the cover down against the table, and before he touches anything, he doesn't say his name or anything. He says, "I want you to listen for the oboe." That's all he says. I want you to listen for the oboe. Which was, as I look back, it was pretty clever how he did it, because I couldn't even tell you what an oboe is. So we're going to listen for something that I don't know what it is. I figured it was a woodwind. That's all I figured. So he puts he puts the needle down on the record, and it's playing, and the music starts. And we're like, how are you supposed to know when the oboe is? So he's listening intently, and he's got his hand up like this, like, wait. And it's playing, and he's like, no, wait. And then this beautiful oboe comes in, and he goes, there, right there, that was it. Did you hear it? Could you hear the oboe? And then he lifts the needle back off, and he goes, did you hear it? Did you hear how it came in? Did you hear it? And then he goes, let's do it again. And he puts it down. And crazily, the class is like starts to lean forward. And then he goes, listen again, listen. And he's playing the song. And he goes, there it is. Can you hear it? Did you hear how beautifully that came in like that? And some of us are like, yeah, we did. We did. Okay. He goes, well, okay, here we go. One more time, like that. And he starts playing that song. And then all of us are like, there it is. It's like this, the group is like, there it is. There's the oboe. We hear the oboe. And then we listen to the oboe all the way through the song, and he takes it off. And he starts to talk about when you listen to music, you have to be able to listen to the parts. Listen. And it was always the oboe, because the way an oboe comes in is this really smooth, kind of a distinct sound from the woodwinds, but it kind of blends in with the strings. And so he was like, if you could hear the oboe, if you could hear the bassoon, the cousin of the big cousin of the oboe. And so then he would distinguish the sounds, and then he would play it. And so that we would all start to listen for these distinct instruments, which made the whole thing not only interesting, but beautiful. But the main thing is, the reason we fell in love with listening to the oboe and to the bassoon is because he loved it. And, as a person, if you're a teacher or someone that's mentoring someone or guiding someone, or a parent, that kid, that student is going to love what you love. And I think it's like with Jesus, he wants you to listen to the voice of other people. He wants you to hear the birds. He wants you to listen for the oboe. Listen. And it taught us to listen for things and to receive things. And he would come out and he would put it on a different kind of music. And he would say, okay, listen for the cello and then the bassoon. And then he would start. And it was this anticipatory, beautiful, and you started to really savor the music and taste the different flavors of the orchestra. The way that, so I never forgot how his love caused us to love. That was the beauty of it. After I graduated, went through the police academy in my cruiser with a training officer, and my training officer says to me, listen, when you're in a cruiser, you've got to be able to listen for your number. When the dispatcher calls your number, you have to be able to hear it. You've got to listen for it. And in our department, it was a big department, lots of radio traffic all the time. And you were just listening for just your number. 510 was my number, but there was 510, 610, 710. There was 520, 530, all these numbers being said all the time. And my trainer officer say, just listen for 510. Just listen for 510. And the reason I could learn to do it and really appreciate and learn quickly to hear 510 was because that teacher taught me how to listen for the oboe. So the lesson in this is the power of listening. No one in Scripture moves with God without first listening to God or hearing God. No one fully understands another person until they listen to that person and really hear the voice of the other person. And as you concentrate on listening to people and listening to sounds and listening to things, you'll begin to realize what you miss if you don't listen, if you don't pay attention. So listening to God is key in your life. Listening to your own emotions, your own heart, listening to the voice of others. This is the key to creativity, to beauty, to connection in life. So whatever you do, learn to listen well.